2 maps down here at ESL 1 at the Barclays Centre in Brooklyn. In a room full of excitable people, Thomas to my left is top fragging. Yesterday he was an SK fan, today he's a Liquid fan. What happened there, man?
Between Liquid and SK?
What happened just there in that second map? What happened? I thought it was on. Overtime was going to happen.
You rush B through a smoke, you get killed. I mean, I don't know what to say about that.
So having watched these first 2 maps, we built this up. I know Duncan himself said it was going to be 3-1 to Liquid. Is the dream dead for Liquid?
It's never dead. This is America, and we win!
And when we were chatting before we did this, you talked about the 6th man. Who is the 6th man?
The 6th man is all of us right here that don't have FaZe jerseys on, and we got to root.
You got to root for Liquid. What happens in this next map? What happens in the 3rd map?
They hit all of their shots. They win 16-0.
So I know Liquid are out back. I know Liquid are out back right now. What are you going to say to them?
What am I going to say to Liquid right now? Don't think about the last 2 maps. Take this 1 round at a time. Get your picks, hit your shots, and win this game.
Easy as that, right? Thomas, you've been doing the runs up and down. We've seen you. Do your run. Do your run. Come on, run up there. Go for it. There he goes. There he goes. If you think Liquid can take this 3rd map, let me hear you now.
Oh,
there you go.
Well, there's still plenty of passion out there, and there's still plenty of hope, that's for sure. And not surprisingly, because Liquid did play a much better second game. We're going to get the views of both of our gents at the desk. That was better, Thorin. It's still 2-0 to FaZe, but that was better.
My prediction's dead already.
Yeah.
But the game's alive.
Yeah. Have you got any inkling of how Moses might feel now?
This is what it feels like to be Moses. I tell you what, it's a lonely, lonely place. I feel like a small, balding man from the Michigan area. Again, I don't know where you're from, Moses. It's nowhere important. Michigan area. And just all the despair piling up.
But there was hope. But there was hope in there. There was hope in there.
Here's the thing. Obviously, they kind of got going a bit too late, even though they did miraculously almost bring it back to overtime. But it's like I said, win or lose on that map, you have to start playing your game again. And that T-side was exactly what's made Liquid a very exciting team, a team that you can have hope for in this rest of this match and for the future, because that was Liquid Counter-Strike, where what you do is you either get the entry, Twists finally came alive, or you get the trade. It's not the end of the world if Guardian picks you the first time, but there has to be someone who flashes and kills him, and that's Counter-Strike. And they were playing finally their brand of Counter-Strike, and you saw it kind of rattled some of the players. Guardian, Olaf, they started to disappear a little bit, and suddenly Liquid was taking all the sites. They were getting all the favourable scenarios. I thought it was a great game by the end.
Robin even had to do some work in that game. They had to take a timeout.
It's good to take a pause every now and again. I think early on 11-4 first half, FaZe looked like they were in complete control. When kills were coming in, it was Liquid guys in good positions, but not being able to convert the shots, and the FaZe guys were just really sharp. But then as we get into that second half, as Duncan said, they were able to start playing their brand, and they even played some really good afterplant situations. There was that one where they got the A-bomb site. There was a perfect flash for Twist, which got Rain, who was flanking from long. Elige capitalized. That stuff was all really good. But you have to note in this game, they did win 2 ecos. So they had to really pull out some miracle rounds to even get close. And the other factor was they had in the first half 2 3v2s and a 3v3. So if they had converted 1 or 2 of those, we could be looking at a different match right now.
Yeah.
And this guy here, Twists, even though they almost got to overtime, he didn't show up till the second half. Like, the entire map and a half, he's a young guy. It's his first huge final. I mean, obviously, the Mykonos one was a little bit smaller scale. There wasn't a massive crowd in front of him. He wasn't present for the first map and a half. But here's what's great about this Liquid team. This is one of the things we stressed about their stars. Okay, JDM and Twists were struggling. Elige carried the load for a while there. He kept them alive. He got them a few rounds. Then when Twists started to come alive, and then when the T-side game started to hit, Nitro particularly, some pretty heroic rounds, I thought, in there where he really did run in and be the entry guy. That's when they started to come alive. And now, you can go into this 3rd map and feel like if that was the map where they're supposed to have no chance, they could play in this 3rd one. They can get this to a 4-map series.
Stucci's tweet there is absolutely spot on. 14 rounds this time. It's the most any team have managed in the entire tournament.
Fitting, right? Team Liquid has been the other best team in the tournament. Yep. Not just because they made the final, but the way they've played the final, they're up to the final, and the way they've gotten to this point. That's the Team Liquid we wanted to see. We didn't see them on the first map. They started terribly, obviously. Now it feels like they're awake, they're alive. I think it's doable.
You can see the cracks starting to form as well when FaZe is forced to play. It's not that they're playing a bad brand of Counter-Strike. On Inferno, they played amazingly, right?
Yes.
And there was very team-based. But here you can see like when it isn't working, when they're not hitting those shots, how quickly it can crumble, maybe where those communication issues come into play, because they were being dictated too. Just execute after execute was coming in from the Liquid guys. They were picking which bomb site they wanted to go to. As Duncan was saying, the entry frags from Twist were coming in. There was a very pivotal round by Stan as well, where he pushed through the long smoke, got 2 A kills. With the spray transfer, I think that was like a sick round, and that actually, I think, forced them onto Eco. So everyone kind of stood up in this map and brought it back, and you have to take this confidence. So sure, they lost. But if they lost in another blowout, we definitely would be looking at the 3-0 sweep. Here, we have a bit of hope now. There's that little glimmer in everyone's eye right now.
Yeah, it is a glimmer, but it's still 2-0. We should be clear about that.
Sure.
And FaZe move on to Mirage, which is next, and they've been playing great on Mirage as well. So what do Liquid do this time?
More of the same. They get to start on the T side, right? Well, I'm pretty sure this is Liquid's pick, right? So that means if you would be Liquid's pick, so FaZe get to pick CT.
Yes. They might do. They
I'm
did.
pretty
They
sure
have
that's
done
how
it the
it
other way
went.
around, haven't they?
I did write it down somewhere, but I'm pretty sure, you know, if you get to start off where you left off there on the T side, and you can have some of those really good after plants, you can have your executes going your way. That's a fantastic sign, right? It's going to be competitive. Whereas if they start on the CT side and they were getting dictated to, like we saw early, you might just see the blowout happen again, because it's the T side of FaZe, which they do have that loose structure, which I love seeing them play, where Nico's able to run in and get an entry frag, and then all the dominoes kind of fall in place. You know, everyone kind of knows the room they have to work with, and then always... The thing is, it's really weird with FaZe, is when they're in these situations, they're still very aware where players can be. Some of these situations where Olof is like lurking around the A bomb site on overpass, expecting someone to probably have rotated away, but he's still checking every corner. And those little things, you know, saving them from losing guns is going to push them ahead.
Okay. In terms of MVP, we should start thinking about it in terms of performances so far. Nico's certainly up in there, isn't he?
Yeah, the problem with the FaZe guys is they've barely played any maps. They're only 6 maps into the tournament. So for them, the final probably will decide who the MVP is. So Nico's very much leading the way right now. Obviously, he was the MVP of that map. Absolutely, certainly. He was already the guy with kills, and then he obviously had the killing blow, as it were. For the whole tournament, I still feel like if Team Liquid shows a good enough account of themselves, someone like Twist should be in with a shout. He just started so badly. He's got to really get working at this point in time. Elysia's definitely had a good tournament thus far. He's actually, if you go look at his stats, people will be surprised. I think he has like 37 kills over the first 2 maps. So this guy stood up and, you know, when he had to be counted, when his team was getting destroyed. So impressive stuff from him. It's just at the moment, oh, look, they're even taunting Zeus there. Look, they're saying, yeah, you can't eat these, can you? We can. You won't see us in hospital, mate. Although actually Kerrigan doesn't look like man alive.
He's angry.
At least his mother loves him anyway. Someone's got to.
He's ruining those bananas over there. Getting a little bit of energy ready for game number 3. What about Rain? Because he's had a terrific tournament. Every map we'd seen before the grand final, he was the guy that stood out. We all spoke about it day one and said, yeah, maybe if there's a guy in the team that's the sort of support role, maybe it's Rain. And actually, he's just proved all of us wrong, and he's just gone out there and mowed everyone down for every game.
It's just hard, you know, when you have stomps, because like the frags, everyone's just getting the frags, right? It's like we never had someone super carrying. Okay, sure, like Rain had the game where he had 27 kills on Cash, I think it was, and then him and Nico had that really good second map. But it's not like they needed. I'm sure someone else would have made the frags, right? Or if they weren't making those kills, it still would have been a game that they would have won, or they still would have gone to someone else. So they had great games. It's hard to put that in context of you know, MVP. So I think it has to come down to the final to pick one for FaZe. And if they do it 3-0, then Nico's looking hot at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to Mirage fairly shortly. Liquid obviously approached this very similarly. How do FaZe go into this, though? Because you get the sense a little bit that rocked them towards the end of that map. You know, not destroyed their confidence or took anything away, but they may have just got a little bit more uncomfortable.
Well, here's the thing. Not only do FaZe now know Liquid's T-side's for real, and this is a map, by the way, where your T-side will entirely dictate how you're going to play in this game. But secondly, they now have, if you're on the Liquid side of things as well, you've seen them be a little bit vulnerable. Guess what? Guardian and Northmaster didn't look like superstars when you were playing a proper game of like 2-man entries onto a site, and then you flash, you trade, or you get the first kill. That's the difference, is no one was able to do that on T-sides against FaZe in this tournament. No one was able to ever actually force them to have like team play. They didn't have any counter flashes, by the way, if you noticed that. Anytime they got pushed on, they were retreating back in the site. That's the thing. Before, they were always taking their ground, and then everyone was just killing everyone coming in the crosshair. So I feel like that was the first bit of weakness that we saw from FaZe in this tournament. That, funnily enough, is more like what it started out when they began at Malmo and they didn't get out of the group, you know. Then they had their great run at E-League. Now it's gone even better here, but you can't. That's why I always say I never buy the idea that you're just going to keep rolling like that the whole way along. If you have, great, maybe you're going to be the best team of all time. History tells us probably not. And so Team Liquid's into it now. For FaZe, that's something I want to see. Is we know the skills there, and clearly the fantastic players, but what cohesion do they have? Because CT roles, there's a reason why people play a site for like 3 years, you know. takes a long time. Not only to know how you're going to play this out, how's the guy with you going to play this out? You've got to have a philosophy. You've got to kind of have like a hierarchy of like, if I do this, then you do this. They don't have that in FaZe at the moment.
But although we saw glimpses of that on Inferno, didn't we?
Yeah.
With
Their
Rain and
transition
how
defense
Olofmeister
it was awesome.
Was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was really good, right? But when you switched over, they were kind of just weren't making the entries like Duncan was saying, and they were getting flashed off lines, and they didn't have counter flashes ready. But with Mirage coming up, you said Olof and Guardian, they couldn't really see them anywhere on the overpass map. This is where they went absolutely ham in the group stage, right? They played fantastically on Mirage. And this is a map that I think is statistically, at the moment, where Olof shines. He can be very effective on this, and we saw them run away with it. So that's a scary
I think the stat
factor.
was that in the last 7 times he'd played it, he was like a 1 or more rating. Because obviously in Fnatic, it was their favorite map towards the end.
So that's a really scary prospect, right? Because if they come out and now they have a good game, and you still have Nico doing what he was doing, Rain chiming in, Carrigan had a very good first game on Inferno, they can still show up and just shut them out on the CT side. And then that's where the problem is, because Overpass CT was bad, but if they can have a good Mirage CT, we know their T sides are looking good, and it's not even good in the fact of, hey, they're just running around getting entry kills. We saw some really sick executes. They made some really good plays. Even against full ecos, they were doing full executes, right? So they're getting to areas of the map, they're rotating around, they're making good calls. They're actually playing a full game of Counter-Strike, not just shooting people in the head.
We talked about maps at the start of the tournament, and the fact that these 5 have come out, and we felt like the first 3 very much suited FaZe, the last 2 not so much. So is there a little bit more pressure perhaps on FaZe to kill it now and finish it off at 3-0, or do they not worry too much about the last 2?
They're actually looking like more prepared in terms of depth of strategies and stuff than I think I was expecting, and seeing that here more so than we did in the early stages of the tournament. So that means when we do eventually get onto a nuke, they're going to have their executes. The problem becomes then the individuals. How are they going to fit within that? Because I know that they're going to have the structure now. We've seen that. They've shown that. That's just, can those players keep performing to that level? And that's the big question mark around superstar teams. I put this out with G2, right? They're a superstar team with so many star fraggers, but can they do it time and time again? If they can do it time and time again, and FaZe can do the same thing, that could be the next big blockbuster final we might be looking at.
And there is one player still on the server yet to really show up. And this is an AWPers map, and JDM has 9 kills for the series. If they're gonna win this map, if they're gonna start the comeback and at least have the hope if it's possible, okay, he doesn't have to be the start player. He's got to do more than this, because he's getting his AWPs. They're giving him every time they give the chance. He saves them when he can. So far, no impact. And obviously, we know how crucial he was to that SK victory.
Yep, he's currently at 20 and 37 in the entire series, which is not great. Obviously, minus 17. I do want to. We touched on it briefly with the leads. He's minus 1 right now, 37 for 38 over the 2 series that they've lost. He's actually got more frags on the board than all 4 of the other players in FaZe, other than Nico. Which is astonishing,
this
really,
is
on the
why
losing
people
side.
thought I was overhyping this guy, because I think it was maybe like a month and a half ago I did a video where I was like, for me, he's like the chosen one of NA.
Right.
Like, I've seen this guy play in teams that were good when he had Simple, and then I've seen when he was in the teams where they wouldn't get out of the group stage. And he played really consistently.
Yep.
He's like the complete package, It didn't matter if his team was doing badly, he'd always kind of get his. And in this final so far, that's been an essential component, because beforehand, it was the trio. It was like, depending on what role, that's where we get our kills. That's where okay, was it really like an entry-heavy game? Twist is going to be the star now. If you have a guy who's that kind of a rock, now you can really look at the other pieces like, right, JDM, you've got to get in the game. Twist, you were coming alive there. We've got one part that's reliable.
All right, let's head back to your commentary team for game number 3. Can FaZe close it out?
Can FaZe close it out? That's the question on everyone's lips, and certainly one they don't want to utter if you're a Liquid fan inside of the Barclays Center in New York. Grand final, best of 5, and it's 2 maps to the good for FaZe. None so far for Liquid. We start on Mirage, they start on the T side.
2 smokes, 3 flashbangs to work with there. Could be the last map for Liquid. You have to get behind them, ladies and gentlemen. Give them what they need up against FaZe. You need one more map for happy grand final champions here. Carrigan and 1 defuse get 1 smoke to work with him. And they go towards the underpass. Guardian lying in wait. You can hear them coming.
He's gonna try to be sneaky, but if he's got to be sneaky, he's got to hit shots. Elige does much better in doing so. Twist will hold off the vents. They don't have access to the site just yet. They'll wait for Nitro to get in position in Palace, because Elige holds with Bomb, and they just want to see what rotations will come their way. It's actually decent map control to have, because they could still open up toward the B site. Nitro gets the Palace now. Bomb down though. Nitro found. Twist has to be careful. Good response. They lose him as well. They lose the round because Bomb is now sitting in the open. Kerrigan can actually see it from Catwalk, and suddenly it all turns. Despite having such good position, it's the young man Twist who has to pull it back. So close on Nico, 1 HP, and he's in the open. He's got to go aggressive. Goes aggressive and can't find Olaf in time. A decent effort, but not good enough as they pull back the pistol on FaZe's side.
A fast approach there from Team Liquid, trying to pinch it towards the ace side. They had 3 players go towards the underpass. They ran past Guardian. He should have have done more there, but they managed to take him down. But Rain's been so deadly with that silenced USB, can cause a massacre on Overpass. Similar sort of fashion here on Mirage as well. Team Liquid do not get the bomb down. They'll be force buying here in the second round. They have a few smokes to work with, flashbangs, CZs, and a Tech 9, of course, with Twist. We know he doesn't favor towards that. CZ75. They go towards Palace. 3 players there. A couple of flashbangs to be deployed with the smokes, of course, presumably towards Jungle and the steps area. Flashbangs to come through, but it's to be Rain to find the first kill with the FaMAS. Make it a double. Hoffmeister helps him out as well. That should be round done. But Twist, he does manage to find the damage on one, but that's all we'll get. Nico to finish things off there. No bomb planted once again, Matthew. So there has to be the full eco here. Team Liquid not with the strong start we saw on Overpass. They managed to get the 3-0 there. Not going to get that on a Mirage where it's on tournament points phase in terms of the map count. Nico with one flashbang, going for the best boys. Maybe he can get a bomb down here, that would be great. It's not going to be the best of buys into the next one. Good news is though, JDM, who's had a very quiet grand final so far, he's got $3,400, so he'll be able to get the AWP out on one of the most important AWP maps we have here. Guardian just with a silent USB, trying to make things happen, and he does get one, make it 2. Twist takes him down in the end with the Glock.
Decent find too, though, for Guardian, as he wants to obviously build toward the AWP. Good shot to Olaf. It's Twist lock and key. JDM back, and thankfully for Nitro, the Flames don't quite go far enough, but they know where he is. In fact, he decides, I've had enough, no money further for the SMG, so run into the Flames, and Kerrigan gets the kill. 3-0 for FaZe.
It's a clean 3-0 as well. This is definitely bonus round territory. We've got MP9's, FaMAS's, a Guardian AWP coming out as well. Nico, what has he got? He gets dropped the FaMAS. Rain, I assume he maybe gets the other SMG here. There it is, the UMP for him. Wouldn't be surprised if all the UMPs potentially go towards underpass, something like that, try and find the opening pick. And indeed, Olafmeister flirting with the idea of pushing towards the middle. Gets back in towards the connector though, falls back for now. And Nitro and Elise, they try to cross over to the mid boxes. Good smoke down, flashbangs deployed as well. His Nitro is surviving as Guardian misses that first shot. We head back towards B. This looks like an execution off the bat. This one I think Liquid are the most deadly. They have got very, very strong executions, and this will be one of them. 5 players towards the B apartments, smoking towards shore, presumably. That buys FaZe a little bit of time there. They won't be aware on to the other side, but Meister going for the wall bang here. Nothing really inflicted. Here's the full commitment.
Twist wins it out against Kerrigan. Double smokes down on the arch. That means Olaf has no further vision. And they can try and get a bomb plant in the site. Elise is very timid and cautious in doing so. He's not willing to cross over. The problem is timer on the play has to get by the smokes. Window was the concern. Well, they've got eyes on it. JDM fast with the AWP. Spots a second, but not quite ready to take the shot. Neither will Rain be. He's going to back off exactly that. They grab the AWP, and it'll be the first round for Liquid.
Well, there it is, towards the B bomb site. As I said, assertive play from Team Liquid. Team they had an objective at the very start of the round. This time towards the B apartments. You deploy the smokes, and as they're being deployed, that's when you fully commit as well with one flashbang. As you're coming out of the apartments itself and actually trying to find and trade frags, the surprise play, the smokes get blooming towards the short area. It means you're locked in toward the bot site. Any CT's retreating, like Olafmeister was, he can't do anything about it. First player went down, only had the MP9 to be fair, so it was difficult for Kerrigan to find anything. Olafmeister might find one more kill, not meant to be. There's still plenty of cash here for the FaZe side, so they're absolutely fine with that. They could even bring out a double orb setup if they wanted to. And remember, this is where Kerrigan in the TSM days, and later Astralis as well, he was very good at AWPing on this map. He was actually sometimes the main AWP role. So he will definitely be willing to kind of jump into that if required.
To window quickly with an M4. Guardian instead will go over toward B with the AWP, and JDM's going to do the same, so we might have a stare down immediately. Battle of the snipers. Guardian already on the balcony, ready to fire, but flashed off, gets tagged through the wall. Thankfully for his sake, through the wall. Could have been much, much worse. Tries to find an alternate angle. Forces FaZe to consider the fact they're inside of the apartments as he gets ready toward the bench. Kerrigan can't go aggressive on Catwalk because he has to be in a position to support Guardian. As they push down mid, Elise finds a shot on Nico through the connector. That opens up a chance to try and wrap around, but through the smoke they go, and Kerrigan's ready on the inside. Even if they lose Guardian in the site, they don't get the second approach to it from Catwalk. Still though, the bomb gets planted in a 3-on-3. Good read, JDM missed timing, but still has the position to hold with the AWP, and the flank for Olaf is going to have to be very, very fast. Flashes out, they try and spray it through the window. Instead though, Twist gets Kerrigan back. However, Olaf has access, and they have the HP advantage on the CT side. He's the one with the kit as well as Olaf. Down goes Nitro, suddenly Twist again, has to clutch it. No idea that he's that close. Rain gets caught out, and he knows that Olaf's jumped in. Buys himself space by boldly jumping back toward the jail. And he needs to step up and get himself out of this situation as Olaf gets closer.
Wow.
Twist says absolutely not.
Now we're getting somewhere with Twist. 4 kills in the round. Manages to juke out Olaf Meister at 1v1 as well with 17 points of health. That's a heroic play, and that's exactly what Liquid needed. They're going to have any chance of making a dent in this grand final so far. That's really, really strong play from him. It was Carragher that got FaZe back into the round, gave them a chance, a 2 versus 1 there. The young North American player. It's a second on the board, and the double orb comes through. Guardian and Olaf Meister. Guardian to strike first. Takes down the American sniper, and it's 5-on-4 now. So it won't be Carragher to roll that secondary AWP. Olaf Meister chiming in with the responsibility as we go towards short. Can he get anything else there? Of course he can. The orb's doing so much work right now.
So fast. Some 40 degrees probably on that flick to catch off Twist, who, by the way, is Thorn painted the picture well. Nico, good flank. Has woken up in the second half of the second game, the only half he really had anything to say in, and Twist now has 8 kills in this one, so perhaps exactly what they were missing on the Liquid side. He's well above anyone else on his team, and his team's about to go down to a deficit of 2 rounds. Good news is the last round, not quite though, they still need a bomb plan. I thought it was more efficient. They're not quite in a position where they'll be able to fully buy in the next.
If they save the AK, they can force around at least. It'll be like CZs, the AK-47 and smokes. That's if they save it. I don't think that's going to be happening. Stan trying to do what he can there, but he'll be taken down by Guardian. It's the AWPs now, and pretty much find all the kills. Nico picked up 1, but now they're in a very strong start indeed, completely obliterating the Team Liquid money. Guardian with his orb, backed up by Olaf Meister as well. That seems to be quite the deadly duo, I have to say. Round number 7. They will take a pause here, Team Liquid, to work out what's the play going forward. Stanislaw, 0-0-6 once again. We really need to stop seeing that scoreline come in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an ongoing trend throughout, unfortunately. He's slow to start. Nitro has been as well, and getting game leading, he's trying to free up room for the others. Nitro still had a contribution, maybe not indirectly in kills. Again, it was touched on the desk that entering in, at least he's taking the boldness to find one on the way through, or at least giving trades. But if he can't get going consistently, it's still a problem for me.
I do force buy into this round. It's a difficult one. The UMP 1 AK-47 for Twist, who has had a fantastic round. And 3 pistols to work with there. It's not looking good. They'll definitely be eager. They don't win this one. 4-2 down. FaZe kind of looking for 5, and they're in a very good position to do so. They do know Liquid. They're up against a double orb setup here. If you do that same execution towards B, which is successful before, it looks like they will be doing, this could work out. But Olaf Meister is at the window. He's going to hit at least one of these kills, I'll tell you that for nothing. Once they come in, there's no way he doesn't get anything done here. There it is. The first kill comes through. Twist goes down.
And Cross, they do at least evade it further, but Carragher waiting inside of the site, knows they're coming from either side. And he holds on correctly. Olaf just to watch, just to make sure no one further drops to the side of the site, but Carragher overcommits and overconsiders the fact that Nitro's still on catwalk. Has vision. There's only smoke on the left side, Arch, or at least left of Olaf's perspective. Nitro could see, but can't get in a plant. That was never going to happen with him in a 1 versus 4 and everyone on the B site. So 5-2, but now we get back to a situation with the Force where it can extend to a massive early lead for FaZe for the third round, third map, I should say, in a row.
Just Glocks here. Nothing that we can really bring to the table whatsoever. A P250, a couple of flashbangs, and a dream for Team Liquid. If they manage to win a full eco again, I'll be very surprised indeed. They did it on overpass. That's what actually saved them. But up against the double orbs and the AKs, I'll be surprised if even a bomb gets down here. Nico, this is the first shot, but he's getting peppered up there by the Glocks. About 3 kills for FaZe in total. It will be quite a clean round, but Stan finally starting to find some kills here. That's 2 into the round and 2 into the game indeed. So there it is. He's off the mark at least. And to be fair, Nitro 1 for 7, JDM 1 for 7. This is another big orbing map. We do need to see him arrive. I think he's had one of the quietest series of his tournament so far. He's got a lot of maps and shown us some amazing form, and it would be so gutting for him to drop off completely in his grand final. Fortunately for him, he has to go into this one with an AK-47. Still a difficult buy for Liquid with only 3rd stage loss bonus. But they have got rid of one of the orbs here. Guardian, single AWP duties here as we go into round number 9.
smokes. Well, it's really behind the box, along with Nitro and Elise. Twist will approach from the underpass. It's Olaf that gets out on catwalk to try and peek from a different angle, and they have crossed back over, thankfully, as the smoke is still down. There's a lot of players to be committed and locked into one small field of cover behind boxes, which we know can be Molotov, naded, and many other approaches. Twist even doesn't even bother going for underpass. They're going to give up mid entirely. He rotates all the way back through the B apartments.
Bad news is for Liquid map. They've got to execute now to the A side. Let's have a look at what they've got. 2 flashbangs, 1 smoke, and a Molotov. How do you make that work? I think you just have to come that play here. Just use 1 flash, smoke CT spawn, just bust out there together and hope you can actually get something. Then Guardian rotated towards B. Nico as well, passive, so this could work out.
Smoke goes to CT, as you mentioned. I take back, excuse me, it went jungle. So the Molotov instead could go CT if they wanted, but they don't. Guardian has no flames, full vision, and easy shots, including the bomb. 37 seconds. You were right about rotations. There was a chance that if they found the kills quick enough, they could have gone for the plant fast. Approach from JDM as he swings out and they get Guardian down as he's throwing a nade. And it will allow for the plant. Twist as well to hold immediately beside his teammates so that no one can wrap around from CT and catch them off. The problem is they don't have much room to shuffle away from the bomb after it's planted. Olaf's going to swing around behind. They still have to be watching the approach. They're both not. They're both, oh, thankfully Twist turns. Watching Kerrigan, who now is the last alive on his approach. And Kerrigan to carry again as he has to make it up to 7-2, spotted by Twist. No, he's close. It's an M4 to wrap around, then it's Twist to hold off. Once again, he steps up.
Twist looking impeccable here on Mirage, the only player really stepping up and going above and beyond for his teammates. He currently sits at 10 frags, 6 deaths. Closest on his teammate, 3 kills, so he is keeping them alive there. And as I said, as I pointed out, when they're going towards A, the problem is the lack of utility. No smoke for CD Sport, no flashbangs there. Guardian given an opportunity to shut them down, but luckily Twist hitting absolutely everything there. There's a nice shot from JDM just to note as well with the AK-47. Guardian, nice movement towards middle. Above the smokes for now, and this could be catastrophic. They go towards A, another fast approach here towards the palace is where we focus. As Rain finds 1 and Guardian with the 2nd, but still within a chance of the round is Nitro.
Shot back through before the smoke blooms, and the gap in it means that Guardian takes Twist bomb is down in front of the smoke. They have to cross that gap again just to get toward it, and it's JDM alone. Flash is high, will catch off. Nico getting closer in the sight, but unfortunately, he can't get the kill as he gets behind the box, and Olaf's on the spot to make sure the kill goes their way after, and it's another round just won without one in succession.
Yeah, it's a real problem what it means. Because they're winning rounds, right, but it's every time a Twist clutch. And with 1 player, 2 players surviving, then they're losing the subsequent round game, blowing out the water, and that means like double eco going forward. That means potentially 3 rounds before we even see the AWP come out again. 7-3, and Liquid, sure, they're making things a little bit exciting with sensational play from Twist, but that's the only thing keeping them in this game so far. They have won these full ecos before. We'll see if they can find anything as they go towards the connector. It's Nico to defend with the AK-47. They are starting to lose frags here. Trade's coming through, but only 1 picked up for Nitro so far.
Ooh. Drive-by damage looking more consequential than it was. Twist again goes to battle. Tries to swing out and capitalize on the fact that Nico is tagged. Olaf gets the shot and through the box finds Nitro as well. Another round to their name on their credit. Again, they pull a lead early in the first half. You're right, Twist is all they've got going. Credit to him, by the way, 17 years old, yes. 2 straight finals on a stage, looking awesome, and I have to give a little Canadian shout out to him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fair enough. I'll give you that one. He was very quiet in the first 2 maps, but if he can keep them alive in this one, all will be forgiven. It's not over just yet, but they do indeed have to take another eco here after losing that subsequent round after the brilliant clutch. And there's a gap in the smoke towards middle as well. Guardian can't capitalize on him. He'll have to just take the information, but he'll give the information to his teammates and they'll cause a disaster with it. 2 kills for FaZe, JDM and Elise go down.
Yeah. Twist. The Deagle. Information certainly not sent airmail as they capitalized immediately, and Twist and Nitro will try and wrap back towards Stan. Guardian will position himself near the vent at jungle. Actually, take that back just slightly forward. I'm going to be able to see all the way in toward Palace, and if he's fast as we know Guardian is, Stan may not even get the bomb toward the site. Still be a tough order even if they bypass that shot, because there's a good setup with Rain and Nico on a crossfire as well. Guardians thought other of the possibility of A. In fact, checks mid because Olaf and Kerrigan go so passive, but now they go. Starts off with these crossfires mentioned, and that's all they need. Rain and Nico to close out everything. 9-3.
Nothing really to get too excited about in that round. It was another full eco for the Liquid boys. Went towards middle. Managed to evade Guardian, but nothing they could do about Olaf and Nico. Round number 13, though, we get the AWP out for JDM once again. It's a decent buy overall, not the biggest amount of utility, but they have smokes and molotovs and a few flashbangs to work with here. JDM, after 12 rounds, still sat at 2 kills, has dropped off significantly in terms of overall form. I think we have a bit of aggression in the CTs this time as well. Will be Olofmeister pushing up towards middle, baited in by Guardian as well. Watch this connector, backing him up. It's a lovely setup, this one. Olofmeister can watch towards the underpass, and Guardian can give a call. So if he nails one or misses a shot, legs one up, Olofmeister can be up there to pick up the frag if required. And Rain, oh my god, he's in T-spawn.
This is so massive. He's already there. He's gone by Stan. Ooh, who peeks? I don't think he saw him. Stan just came back out of Palace at the exact second that his head went down under the stairs. They still don't know, but Rain has to make a call. Olof's in mid. That should indicate he goes toward B apartments. As he does, it's going to be exactly when Stan comes around the corner, so he may only get one from this.
Oh!
Doesn't even get any good response from Stan. Better from Kerrigan.
Oh
as he swings out and finds the third. Massacre from FaZe. As it looked like Rain had everything, he absolutely gets knocked, but he got the information. That was the important aspect because Kerrigan could sit with confidence. And Stan to get Olof, but 6 HP.
Good luck, Stan. Got a Molotov to work with, and you're right, 6 HP up against Guardian and Nico, two of the scariest names we have in CSGO. And he finds that shot out of nowhere. How has he done that? Why is Guardian even facing? Make him plant, surely. And now we do have a chance here. This would be one of the most heroic clutches we've had in the tournament so far. To keep Liquid in the game. 6 HP, do not kill yourself in the flame, Stan, my god.
Man. You put that smoke down, you can't see where your own Molotov was. I thought for sure he was going to walk into his own flames, but he's got a second smoke picked up, which means he puts it on the site. And that gives a chance for Plant. The problem is, if he commits to it, Nico is very, very close. He may just be inside the box enough. Nico can't spray. 6 HP, he's found 3 kills to get it to a one-on-one. Nico hunting, and Stan hidden behind the pillar. Nico's still coming around, can't go for it, Stan. Nearly backs into it, looking, they know they're close. He knows it's tense. Nico's gotta be somewhere nearby, but he wants him to touch the bomb! Nico won't! No need for a fake, he gets the kill straight up.
Hats off to Stan, that was a heroic effort, I have to say. Wasn't quite enough to find the final hurdle there of Nico. That could have been something really special indeed. I'm not sure how Rain didn't take him down in the initial encounter towards T-spawn, but he hit the shot, and that could have been enough to keep Liquid within this game. And now double digits, 10-3. They get a bomb, but money's still not great. Kerrigan, though, what a spray down this road. So you think 2 was enough, but of course he gets the 3rd as well. JDM can't get going in his grand final at all, and it has to be pistols once more for Team Liquid. 3-0. It's looming now.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually thought he was gonna hit his own Molotov because he didn't go over the balcony.
How anticlimactic would that have been? It's like, well, I'll just run into my own flames.
It was inches away, I'm sure, on the other side of the smoke. Kerrigan ready again with the AWP this time on B, but similar aggressive stance, takes down Nitro and falls into the site. Pistols will pour in toward him, and he's certainly ready for yet another as he takes JDM, but somehow still alive in this. They're losing numbers on the Liquid side. They somehow pull it back to a 2 versus 2. He wants the gun and gets it. Stan wants to pull it out. That'll cost him because Guardian's able to jump through. Elige now knows he has to get off the plant. AWP versus 2 on close angles in the site, and Guardian has the op at the ready against him. Rain has arrived to have the wide shot. Misses it. Does Elige Guardian take it back? He actually hit but got away. I thought for sure it was an immediate trade. He now has a chance for a low HP clutch. I'm not sure he's aware.
Oh, this is perfect.
But he's got him so deep in the sights. Elige will answer it. Finally, they win a clutch.
Not known to be an author, but Elige rises to the occasion once again. 2 versus 1. It seemed he had everything under control at that point as well. As I mentioned, that was perfect. The prediction on point, and FaZe with Rain, and they find the 4th round on the board there. It seemed like this game was done. Another pistol round for Liquid, but still, they're still alive for now. Double AWP set up to finish things off here for the FaZe clan as Nico goes towards the underpass as well. Doesn't fully commit and push in. Waiting with utility in his hand, hoping they make a mistake. But it's start to be execution potentially into a fake. They'll drop the same smokes and fall back. The bomb's still down in T-spawn with JDM watching top of mid.
Good peek out from Nico, well timed. Back to guns and back to problems for Liquid in round 15. And the flames at their feet mean that they can't go further to try and recuperate the situation and pull back against Nico. Rain does go down to Stan, who, I'll give him credit, has looked impressive in this game, considering the situations. With more confidence than we saw yesterday and early on in this series. Just one man down. He has position at Tetris, but the rest of his team spread out. Nitro still looking at the underpass from JDM, waiting to see if there will be further regression at middle.
We had a footstep on the Tetris area, unfortunately for him, so Nico well aware and hungry for blood as well. He already found 2 kills towards that underpass area. Molotov towards CT spawn, desperate at this point, hoping it forces someone out, but if anything, this gives his position away with the trajectory and where it was thrown from.
Nitro starts to go on to B. Makes a bit of contact that keeps Olaf at bay, and Kerrigan stays towards CT if he has to rotate, but they've not sold anything. This is by no means successful and fake if that was the plan, as Nico takes down Stan. JDM caught by Kerrigan, and Nitro is back at spawn with 20 seconds. Round 15, forget saving. Might as well go for it. Down on the site, round's gonna go to FaZe. I'm afraid to say it's inevitable with 10 seconds left, and Guardian ensures so as it goes 11-4, the second time we've seen that score at halftime.
How many clutches do we have there? I think 3 of the rounds Liquid picked up was 2 from Twist and then that big one from Mirage as well. It's fine, 11-4 still recoverable, but still not the team effort we're looking for. We had JDM not even there whatsoever. It's an AWPing map, he's 2 for 13. I'm still believing Liquid can pull this one back, but it's going to be an absolute marathon for them. We'll take a break and see if they can do it in the second half.
Well, 3 is a charm, and it's the 3rd straight half on the 3rd straight map that Liquid have to pull back a deficit. 11-4. It's the same as it was on Overpass. This time, if there's some fortune in it, yeah, okay, the trades on Overpass actually favored their T side, but they go to the CT side, and maybe they can rest on that.
Good news is we are seeing some of the big names at least turn up at Team Liquid. Twists, a couple of unbelievable clutches from him at least towards the end, found that magnificent round with the head of EP, but JDM, he's just been so absent in this grand final. I keep bringing it up, but it's been significant. He's had one of the best tournaments of his entire career here in New York, and this would be such a horrible way to finish it for him. We're rushing B for the FaZe Clan side, flashes over, all 5 players committed as well, but Stanislaw, look at him, he doesn't know. Oh dear, he's going to come behind them. He thinks he's absolutely nailed it, but he's going to get caught in the back. It's Nico, of course, looking for the 3 frags. He's got 2, but can't get the 3rd. And it's up to Elige. It's a complete massacre on the B bomb site, and now he has to clutch 1v4.
Nico continues to be a factor every single round. Elige, 52 HP. Bomb at least planted, but doesn't even matter because Elige won't get close enough to do anything about it. They got into B so fast, 12-4. Could be anticlimactic. This is perfect positioning from him. Reads that so well.
They made the perfect call though. They flanked behind them. The timing was to perfection, but Nico just so aware that's a possibility. Like I said, 3 frags was available to him, but 2's enough. He'll take that all day long. And the clean sweep there from FaZe pretty much comes in, only giving 1 kill away. And it will be round number 17. The force buy, of course, from Liquid. They're all in now. They know they can't give anything away. They can't allow those to get to 13-4. Nico ready and waiting once again, finding only 1. All right, looks like both headshots are coming through. We won't get too excited just yet. Lige does manage to take him down and find an AK-47 as well. And this is how rounds have gone against them in this series so far. Nitro chimes in, and this could fall apart. Even more so now, the double kill for Nitro.
Bad, but he's got to be cautious of the fact that Olaf is behind him. He's certainly cognizant now with a slap to the face from a single bullet of the MAC-10, excuse me. M10, we can call it that. Olaf's going to continue to try and get clever behind them by giving up on that approach, knowing that he's been found out, and go to the spawn where Lige has a perfect headshot angle. Makes no mistake with it, having the AK in his hands. It's on terrain. 2 low HP players who have rifles with armor, but that's a factor when you consider how low they are. And then Twist, who's trying to get close enough to get pistol into effect. He's the one that gets the bait off of this. He's crossed down. He knows where he is. Rain's got the hard part done. Lige, it would take 1 bullet. 51, it would take 1 the other way as well if he's not careful. So he still has something to consider. Lige does not have a kick. But the shadow shows. And Rain pulls back the round.
All you can do is fist bump at that point for Team Liquid. A 3 versus 1 situation. It seemed like you got back into it enough to make this a competitive game at least. But what a play from that in Rain. My lord, that's something quite special. 3 versus 1 and a Lige. He was the low HP player. Couldn't do anything in the final interaction with Rain there. They have to take a full eco, and it's looking very likely to be 14-4 here in the potential last map of this grand final. It's a best of 5, but FaZe Clan might sweep this 3-0. Nothing purchased into round number 18 here. USPs across the board, and I thought Nitro had done enough there, Matt. It seemed like he'd done everything.
Rain will wait again. Even when they do everything against FaZe, when they have this much firepower and everyone's hitting shots. Rain sits on 20 kills, Nico's on 19. Best on Liquid, 11 for Twist, who goes down to Rain and makes him now hit number 22 with JDM added to that total as well. And he'll go back up for more. Knows he's being pushed in, but 19 HP doesn't respond fast enough. Lige at least picks up a gun, but the gun might have to run and head for the hills. I don't think it's going to, because Guardian's already pursuing it. A punch, doesn't matter, Lige hits it first. Nitro on 3 HP. We'll try and get toward Guardian's body and get a gun late, perhaps, if Lige can babysit it. He knows that there's someone pursuing a little bit sooner than that, so he'll sit to wait. If anyone's going to peek Lige from window, he can actually catch them off in turn. But all for naught in the round, because it goes 14 and 2 rounds to go for FaZe to win ESL New York 2017. Good read by Nico. And in doing so, making Guardian a back-to-back New York champion in a much different color on his shirt. The question is, does he have the same amount of tears this time?
I don't think so. It hasn't been such a sloggy first tournament really with this team. It turned up and looked like this. Like he was like, well, is this my life now? It's obliterating everyone in every single map.
Luxury, sitting back,
must
getting
be nice.
served sandwiches at tea time. Last year was a slugfest of a final. Even if the scores of the maps didn't suggest, it was a lot of clutching from both sides.
Yeah, I haven't really been tested too much in this final map so far. We had a couple of nice clutches from Liquid, but no convincing rounds, I'm afraid. 5 M4s, no JDM Orb, no defuse kits. After that, Force Buy is left them very weak indeed. Good news is Karrigan's only got the UMP, but lose this one, it's pretty much done. They'll have 4th state loss bonus on the CT side. It won't be enough unless they save 2 weapons. Has to be a win here. Nothing else will do for Team Liquid. It will give championship point towards FaZe and no money in the bank. In terms of setup.
All but done. The smoke goes bench. Interesting bounce smoke go to Arch. That'll land quickly. Rather than the skybox. Oh, okay. Bounces off the back of his teammate's head. Rather than the skybox bounce, which takes a little bit more time to, I guess, bloom, if you will, on the site.
Oh, it's just done. It's a fake towards B. They've taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. And Nico finds a kill at 8. Twist is locked in a sport of no nades, and it's done. There's no way they can win this round at this point. No kits. The bomb will be planted. It's an open plant. All right, Twist. Maybe there's something within this. Bomb planted towards connector, but no kits. Like I said, it's going to take someone to go absolutely wild here to have any sort of chance.
Twist misread where they planted as well. The slightly off angle for Guardian meant that he was safe of spam. He goes back out toward A main with Rain on the stairwell. Even with Twist trying to pull that back as he dared. Still sent a man down, and before the smoke blooms, Kerrigan's able to strike behind. Damage done from A main green. Finds JDM, it's Twist together, has to step up. He can't do it this time alone. And Guardian secures championship point for FaZe in map number 3.
It's looking very good indeed, I have to say. FaZe, 3 players surviving, bomb planted. It was just such a beautiful fake there. All the smokes, the flashbangs, the Molotov deployed towards B, and as soon as they actually throw those Molotovs and smokes in, they're down towards the underpass. They're ready to split. As soon as they do that, Nico, making it look like he's coming for a flank, he finds the opening kill at A. They all come in towards Connector. It's just done. There's no way you can win that round. They have to force by here, Liquid. 15-4, 11 championship points to play with here, FaZe. This should be where they close it out, though. SMGs, Famases, and maybe a set piece coming in. Looks like the A split is very likely. The bomb towards A ramp, but Legion Twist know they have to work hard for the frags here. Waiting on the other side of the smoke. No kills being exchanged out of yet as we head towards shore.
Legion Twist could be a threat. Kerrigan seems to think they're, or at least know that they're there, but when they go for the reload, that's when they strike. Good trade. Legion needs to double it if they want any chance, and that's gone. This makes problems worse because JDM gets smoked off, backed away, and FaZe continue to apply the pressure. Olaf through the window, gets one, gets traded out, a bomb planted, and again there is no kits, an MP9. And a Nico well in the way as he goes back to Sandwich.
I don't know how they do this. How are they going to pull this one out? They've got smokes and flashbangs, that's about it.
In the nades rain. The Arsenal toward the firebox in hope of a kill. All in one position, and Guardian makes it just Nitro to find the flash! And Nico fittingly gets the last kill as FaZe dominate New York in 2017 in the Barclays Center all the way through this tournament. They've looked so good.
Not dropping a single map so far. A solid unit, a super team of sorts. Everyone stepping up in this grand final. It looked like Liquid could do something on the second map. They made it the closest scoreline ever in the tournament for FaZe on that 16-14. It's been a great run for Liquid. 2 grand finals and back-to-back tournaments, but there it is. It will be the 3-0 sweep.
And credit to Liquid, as you say, 2 back-to-back finals. But credit to FaZe Clan, they took a risk to try and change up players despite having decent success aside from the major. And Guardian gets his back-to-back trophy. New York 2017, FaZe are your champions. And they'll let the new boys get the trophy. Guardian's done this before. Olaf joins him. That was some grand final, almost as good as the sign that man's holding up just there. Kerrigan, as the head of this team, we've talked about it being a super team. I've mentioned it, Henry was talking about it. This was some performance.
It was amazing. I don't know what to say. We won. We haven't lost a single map this tournament, and it's just amazing to be part of this team and part of a journey that just started.
Well, you say this journey's just started, and you have just lifted the ESL 1 trophy. It's back over there with you. How good can you be?
I think we showed today what we can do if all players are hitting their peak. But you also have to be honest, if some players don't hit their peak, we need some structure, and that's what we need to work on the rest of the year. We're not ready to be the world champ right now, but we will be in 1 month or 2 months.
How much do you think it was a risk putting this team together? When you changed it, because it was a fairly newish lineup anyway, how much was that a risk, do you think?
I think when people look at our previous result with the old lineup, it was a good result. We had 4 finals in a row, 5 top 4, but there was something missing. And I think we found the missing piece in in Guardian and Olofmeister. So I'm so glad that FaZe could bring them on board.
Well, you are the ESL 1 champions here in the Barclays Center. What has it been like winning and playing in New York in front of this crowd?
It has been amazing, even though many US fans here hoping for a US victory, but I guess they have a chance next year when New York is coming back, hopefully.
The esports world keeps on turning, more CS tournaments. For people who've watched you play, opponents, teams who've watched what you've just done here, what do you want to say to them?
I would say we are ready for the next tournament, and I hope somebody can bring more to the table.
More to the table. Thank you so much, Carrigan, a fabulous leader. It's been an amazing performance. Put your hands together for your winners, the ESL 1 champions, and that is FaZe!
A thoroughly brilliant performance from FaZe. Flawless throughout ESL 1 New York 2017. And they do claim a trophy. This is, they said, Duncan, the start of the story as well. It's very promising, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they've played 3 tournaments. Obviously, E-League's not finished, but they made it first in their group there, which had G2, had Na'Vi. Now they've crushed this whole tournament. Even the one they lost, the first one, Malmo, they were losing to like a very good Gambit team. There was some quality sides in that tournament. So it feels like in terms of the potential, we're seeing a lot of it now. I agree with Guardian, with Carrigan there though. You could see where they need to put in a little bit of the structure, and then they'll be truly unstoppable.
Yeah, Sponge, I mean, you saw some glimpses of that. Impressed by what you've seen?
Yeah, that was a blistering performance, right? What they said, a flawless victory throughout the tournament. No one really tested them. We had one map there that they looked a little bit competitive, but they were in control the whole time. They had a lot of match points to work with. So that all in all, it was a fantastic performance from FaZe, and I think that this has to be one of the most dominant tournament victories, I think, ever in CSGO history for sure. But something to note, Carrigan's interview was extremely humble, right? The fact that he can come out of a game, come out of a tournament winning in that fashion going, hey, we still have the rest of the year to work on our flaws. We know what our flaws are.
Sure.
If they can fix that up, this could be one of the most dangerous teams in the 2017.
Well, I mean, Duncan, you jokingly said it could break Counter-Strike if this team works out.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This actually, because it was so dominant, the force of it, you know, no one here really could stand against them. Like, Liquid had one map where they got it going. Other than that, nothing. Obviously, people like SK, Alstras couldn't even get to the final to face them. I remember, okay, I'm a big fan of MMA, and 2 of the great heavyweights in MMA were these people. One was called Krokop, he was from Croatia, and he was coming up, and he was destroying everyone he was facing. And then the legendary champion at the time was a guy called Fedor, who'd never lost to anyone. And what happened was, there was once this little video they did where when the Krokop guy was like winning the title matches to get close to beating him, they showed the Krokop guy, Fedor, backstage watching him in his like fight before he was going to face him. And he had like a look on his face of like determination, like he knew like, I'm going to have to face this guy. This guy's on fire right now, and I'm going to have to be the one to stop him because these guys can't do it. You have to figure somewhere at home, G2, Kenny S, Shocks, they're sitting back and they're the ones going, well, yeah, it's got to be us, right? We're the other team that's supposed to be able to do it right now. Yeah. This is pretty scary for anyone, I think.
Yeah, I mean, why do you think G2 are possibly the ones that can go head-to-head with it?
They have just as much skill, I think, across the board. I think we did get to see glimpses of Body being a good player, towards the end of the first season, I guess we'll call it. He was starting to look good. We obviously have Shox, who is back in form now that he's dropped that secondary AWPing role. MBK, one of the best anchors we have in the game. Kenny S, one of the amazing AWPer in Apex. If he can entry frag like he has been doing in recent times, it's a very dangerous roster in that regard. I think there's big differences, whereas like if you're going to run away with a game if you're G2, it's going to be through 1 or 2 players, whereas the team of FaZe, it could be anybody really, which is really crazy to look at. But right now we have another team who's just picked up a little notch in their belt for the Intel Grand Slam, and that's going to make the rest of 2017 super interesting, because now no one can win it, but it's going to tick over to the point where 2018 someone could.
Yep, absolutely, $1 million on the line. Quick word for Liquid as well, Duncan, because their last 7 days have actually been fantastic. When you isolate them and you think, well, we've made 2 international championship finals, we've dominated SK twice in 2 best-of-3s, we've beaten Virtus Pro, we've beaten Astralis. That's an incredible week for Liquid, but at the end of it, they've ended up with nothing and no trophy. So that's disappointing. Well, they do get prize money, decent prize money, but because these competitive players will want to win tournaments and trophies, they've walked away thinking, well, damn, how have we not managed to win one of these 2? But it's still a fantastic achievement. It's a really good building block for them.
Yeah, and the difference is, I've seen teams before have like the one good tournament. I remember actually the G2 when they had the same lineup, but when they were playing differently earlier when they won EPL, that looked great. And you were like, right, can they go every tournament? Right. Yeah, they didn't. They just went right back down again, and you never saw that performance again. Liquid has looked consistent across these two performances. The only time they've been truly spanked is now in the final against FaZe, and even then it was 2 of the maps. I think if you look at this squad and you consider the 2 best players in the team are really young players. Elish himself, I think, is only 18. Twist is 17 and wasn't even playing in big tournaments until about 6 months ago. So you consider that's a real fresh core, you know. The other teams that are making it to the top here, they have veteran players, they have experienced guys. You have to play in a few finals before you even know like what it's like to lose, what it takes to win. These are lessons you have to learn. So someone like Twists, yeah, he had his difficulties earlier in the series, started to warm up towards the end. You hope next time he can come in, learn a few lessons from that, have a bit of a better performance. You're not always going to face FaZe as well, remember?
Yeah.
You might be able to win a tournament by other means. So I think a lot to take away from this tournament that's very positive.
We mentioned briefly the Intel Grand Slam. Of course, we're motoring on through. We've got a few more to go this year. FaZe have put their name in amongst that hat of teams. Because at one point, we were sort of thinking, SK are in the semis here, and they already have one.
Yes.
They could be the first team to get 2, and then they're halfway there, right? Now all of a sudden it's open season for that Intel Grand Slam.
Yeah, just with ESL 1 Cologne, it looked like SK were going to be the ones to get a couple in a row for this, but now it's up in the air. So it's crazy to think that we have 3 teams in contention for it now. We still have IAM Oakland, we still have the ES Pro League finals coming up. So there's a lot to look forward to for these guys going forward. And I think at the moment G2 and FaZe are poised to be the ones to carry potentially the #1 title going into 2018 if they can continue the form that we've seen. But there are these challenges, right? SK and Australis, they're not down and out. They just need to rework a few things, and they'll be bouncing back. We have North as well. So it's a pretty competitive top 5 right now.
I mean, Counter-Strike as a whole seems to be quite competitive. I'll get your thoughts on that, but I just want to wrap up on this match. MVP. Tricky, isn't it? Because of the tournament, Reigns had a great tournament, he had a great last game as well, but Nico in this final was absolutely amazing.
Especially because he's the reason we didn't have to see overtime on Overpass. Like, he was amazing anyway. You notice any time he was left alive when they had the 2 or 3 people, you always were like, hold up a sec, let's wait. They haven't won this round yet, because he's that dangerous as a player. So I'm going to have to say, personally, I'll edge it towards Nico, because I think the best team they played, I think, was Team Liquid. They were the ones who get the most rounds against them. And in the final, we're really mattered. This is a guy who used to never make finals in multiples. He was the best player. So I'm going to edge it towards Nico.
Okay.
I have to do the same thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think Rain obviously had an amazing tournament, but when you're blowing teams away 16-3, 16-4, 16-5, that's all great. He's definitely getting the frags he needs to, but Nico had some really pivotal moments, even though it was not a really close final. But on Overpass, he had some heroic moments, so I think he deserves it.
3-0 in the end doesn't quite feel like a 3-0 somehow, because I've enjoyed the final, even though it has been a bit of a blowout.
I think that's because of the movie. Like, okay, we call that the movie frags, right? Like, there was a lot of highlights. There's a lot of really good plays by individuals, and that makes it more exciting. If it was a blowout and it was just like super fundamental Counter-Strike and there wasn't anything flashy going on, it's like, that's pretty boring, right? But because they were getting spanked in such a way that they made it look good, that's the way you want to do it, right?
If you're flashy 3-0. Yeah, that's good stuff. If you've enjoyed yourselves as well with the Counter-Strike, there is more to come, of course, over the next couple of weeks. ESL Pro League again, you can tune into with all the great teams involved in that. And on top of that, there is Intel Extreme Masters Oakland on the way as well. Pro League returning on the 26th of September, which you can view live, of course, on the link below. So, plenty to come, as we said. Also, the Bay Arena is back as well. Oakland's such a fabulous area to go and watch Counter-Strike and get your tickets right now. www.iamoakland.com. Make sure you go and get those right now. That is it from us here at ESL 1 New York 2017. Thanks very much to everyone involved. It's been another terrific year of Counter-Strike. Liquid came, they saw, but they were definitely conquered. Your champions this time around are FaZe.
All right, Team Liquid, we didn't win in Barclays, but that's okay. New York, we're moving to Oakland. We're going to win in IEM, okay? Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Brush it off, knock them out in Oakland. IEM, Liquid.